Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about ways to break your phone addiction. Okay, I have been struggling with this, and it's crazy because I have done so many like social media fasts. I just feel this urge in my spirit that I need to be focused on other things and not be on my phone, and I'm able to do it, and I feel really good. I think like the first 2 days is typically a struggle, and then after that, for me, it will become easier, and I'm able to do it for an extended amount of time. And then I need to promote something or put something up that's important, so it would like cause me to get back onto social media, and then I'm just back in this rabbit hole, this just scrolling, and I'll keep telling myself, all right, like tomorrow I'm not gonna do that. Like I just wasted too much time today. I'm into like what some would call conspiracy theory videos, and it don't be no conspiracy majority of the time, but I will watch one and then I'll go into this rabbit hole of like watching like 20 videos, you know what I mean? And it just gets crazy. It just gets crazy. And then I waste a lot of time and I get drowsy, and then I'm not getting done what I need to get done. And so instead of me being consumed with all these other things and wasted so many hours and being mad at myself at the end of the day, I've just been taking a step back and getting off my phone, okay? And it's really, really hard. It's really hard. There's tons of videos on YouTube talking about this and how basically our phones are like a drug. It releases dopamine in our brain, and it has us literally addicted to our phones. And I also watched a Netflix documentary. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I had to watch it for my digital marketing class, and it talks about how social media is created to keep you stuck, to keep you addicted, to keep you on all the platforms. And so that's what it's for, and it's working. Okay, the psychology is working, and I'm mad at myself every single time. And so I just wrote down here 5 tips that have helped me that I think can help you as well. And so the first tip that I have written down is get to the root of why you're on your phone the way you are and how you feel afterwards. So sometimes I have a reason why I need to be on. Like I said, I have things that I create and that I sell and that I need to promote, and I believe social media is a good tool. But once I'm done doing that, I'll start to get caught in the scrolling, or something will pop up. They'll start suggesting things you're interested in, and then now I'm down this long rabbit hole. And so I have to be very intentional about why I'm getting on and sticking to why I'm getting on, and like literally out loud tell myself, okay, Shanice, post what you need to post and you need to get off. And sometimes outside of me posting and having a reason, a lot of times the root is that I'm bored, or that I'm looking for inspiration, and I'm trying to be inspired because maybe I'm going through something tough. And a lot of times I'll use it as an escape. And that's when it can become a problem, because you're not solving what's really going on. You're just using social media so you don't have to think about your own problems. So you can just look at what everybody else is doing. And a lot of times that will make you spiral and even feel worse. Okay, so just being mindful of why you're getting on and being honest about it. We don't need the surface level answers and the surface level reasons. Deep down in your heart the emotions and the thoughts that you're thinking when you're scrolling and how you're feeling, which kind of ties into the next part of tip number 1, is to not only get to the root of why, but to pay attention to how you feel. So let's just say today, sometimes we'd be like, we'll start on Monday or whatever. So say you're on social media right now, you scrolling right now, you come across a video and you happen to be scrolling 2 hours after you see this video. I want you to be intentional and think about how you feel when you're done with all that scrolling. So for me, I don't really feel like that on YouTube, because if I'm on YouTube listening to things that feed my spirit. I'm listening to sermons, I'm listening to podcasts, or how-to videos if I'm learning how to do something or how to put together something in my home, or if I'm working on a hobby or a passion. So YouTube, very, very intentional on there. And a lot of times I'm listening while I'm cleaning or I'm doing something that I need to be doing. But I feel this way more toward Instagram and TikTok because sometimes it's not, those are more visual platforms. Like, yeah, there's sometimes people post reels where you can listen, but you're like looking at pictures and you're viewing things, so it's causing you to have to pay attention and to stop what you're doing. So that's the difference. And I just noticed that I feel sometimes I feel inspired. I try to be intentional about what I'm viewing and who I'm following, but of course sometimes it just is what it is, and they're suggesting people that you don't even follow. And a lot of times it can make me feel bad about where I'm at, or like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not working hard enough, and I'm already hard on myself, and I don't need the help of outside things making me feel like I need to be ahead. And quite naturally, you know, it's important that we be content where we are, but we're human. So if we keep seeing something and keep seeing something and keep seeing something, it's gonna take root. It's gonna affect you. Even if you say, no, I'm not gonna let this affect me, it doesn't, it's going to. Okay, and so just pay attention to how you feel when you get off. Do you feel worse about your life? Do you feel, like I said, like you're not doing enough, you're not good enough? Now social media also makes us more hyper aware of how we look. You know, a lot of times we feel like we can't post anything without, you know, putting a filter on it. So is it making you feel worse about how you look, how your body looks? Are you worthy of this and are you worthy of that? You know, it just causes all these emotions. So that'll be your first assignment. I think getting to the root and paying attention to how you feel so that you can admit that it's a problem, because you have to acknowledge it and admit it or you're not going to stop, is the very first step. The second tip that I have is to be intentional and to pray about it. And so, like I said, you can say, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I will literally wake up and be like, you know what? I don't feel good about how long I was on my phone yesterday. Like, I'm not going to do that again today. And I'll still do it. And as I'm doing it, I'm reminding myself, it's just like a circle of depression. Like, as I'm scrolling, I'm thinking to myself, like, you did this yesterday. You said you wasn't going to do it, and yet you're doing it. But I can't stop. You know, like, I physically feel like I can't stop. Like, I just like, oh, but I need an escape. And then you get into, like, that self-defeating thinking, and then you make excuses for why you're doing it. And so before I even pick up my phone, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be intentional and I need to pray about it, because I'm like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I start having to remind myself of them scriptures, like, Lord, I know you don't want me on here. I know this is a trap of the enemy to keep me distracted from what I need to be doing. Okay. And I feel horrible after I do it. So why can't I stop? It's like my flesh can't stop. So I'm praying about it, because I'm like, I know that everything is spiritual. What we're shown on our phones is spiritual. The way it's shaping and moving and keeping society addicted and hooked, and they're studying our minds and our behaviors and how we work, and they're catering to that to meet their needs. The people that are running these type of platforms obviously are that's their purpose. That is their goal. And so this is a spiritual battle, and I have to pray about it. Like, Lord, give me the strength. I feel like I can't stop, and give me the wisdom to stop. And this is how I've got these tips, and this is what has been helping me. And so, yeah, after I'm intentional, and what I mean by being intentional is I'm going to kind of like go into those steps that I have written down. So for me, being intentional looks like having a schedule prepared. Okay, so obviously, if there's something you want to stop or anything that is that you want to do in life, I feel like you have to come up with a plan beforehand. Because if you try to wing it and just wake up, you'll just wake up, unconsciously grab that phone and start doing the same thing all over again. So now I start either writing me, which I've always done, a to-do list the night before or the morning of, but I make it a point that this list has to be done first. Okay, so the first day I'm trying to break this phone addiction, I don't go cold turkey. I don't completely say, all right, tomorrow I ain't using my phone at all, because you kind of got to like wean yourself off. And this sounds crazy because, again, it sounds just like an addiction, but it is what it is. And so I never just go cold turkey. Now, there have been times, because I just feel it that heavy in my spirit. Like there's something special or specific that I feel that God is leading me to work on. But there's times where it's just like my mundane, everyday tasks that I need to do. I don't feel as strongly like, oh, I need to get off because there's this important task over here I need to focus on. So during those times, I have to be extra intentional about creating a schedule. Okay, and so I will do my to-do list for the day, and I'll tell myself, okay, I can use my phone, but I'll give myself 3 points in the day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once in the evening. And each of those times that I get on, I'm gonna give myself no more than 15 minutes. I really try to do 5 to 10 because I feel like once you pass that 10-minute mark, you just go into a hole. But okay, for starters, no more than 15 minutes. And this is I guess you can call it like a treat for me doing what I needed to accomplish that morning. Okay, so I'm still kind of, not depriving myself and just using it wisely. Okay, because I don't believe there's anything wrong with social media if you're using it as a tool and if you're using it properly. I believe everything in every area in our life, everything comes down to discipline. All good things can be bad when you abuse them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I do not want to get on my phone until I pray, until I read my word. That's important. My phone is not more important than my relationship with God. My phone is not more important than my eternity and my soul. This comes first. I need revelation. I need guidance. I need direction for my day. I need strength. I need provision. All those things are more important than what social media can offer me, which most of the time is depression and lack of ideas, because I'm not thinking, I'm feeling rushed, I'm feeling behind in life, and now I can't think straight. But when you start your day with prayer, it gives you clarity. It allows you to clear your mind. It allows you to just tap in. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I get my schedule going, and through prayer, I'm asking God, okay, what is it that I need to accomplish for the day? Okay, again, after you set your schedule, you prepare what it is that you need to do for your day that's important, what times of the day you're going to use your phone for those 15-minute intervals. You want to celebrate for sticking to a scheduled time. Now, I know this sounds like that's extra, that's doing a whole bunch, but it's really not. Like, when we beat ourselves up, it kind of gives us an excuse to keep going. Like if we say, dang, man, I only want to be on my phone maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and I've been on my phone 4 hours, 6 hours, I've completed nothing. It's like this self-defeating talk, this negative thinking. And we know that negative thinking, it just makes you spiral. It just makes you keep doing the same thing over and over and pitying yourself. But if I celebrate and say, you know what, I did good today, like I got done everything I needed to get done. I stuck to my time limit on the phone. I was intentional. I showed support to people, on social media. If I did post, I made sure it was something positive. And that's another thing. I want to post something that feeds people, that has meaning, that's purposeful, not just look at me, here I am, but like something that's going to feed into people and uplift people. And so I'm like, okay, I stuck to my time limit. If I did post, which is quite rare, but when I do post, did it give some substance? Did it give some meaning to the other person that's watching my content? And once I've done that and I've like stuck to that, then I go celebrate. You know what I mean? I'm like, let me go make me a little coffee, a little hot chocolate. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to, and this has not really anything to do with social media per se, but getting us into the habit of not always beating ourselves up and acknowledging when we do something good, when we do make steps. A lot of times we downplay the things that we're overcoming, that we're doing, because we're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but it is that big of a deal. Again, our soul, our mental health, all these things are at stake. So anything that you've done throughout your day that's furthering pouring into yourself and drawing you closer to God, that is a celebration, and that is a good thing. That is a milestone when the world is constantly telling you to do otherwise and most people are doing otherwise. That is definitely something you need to celebrate. It's just the phone is kind of like a representation of that. Okay, so don't think you overdoing it. When I limit my phone time, I feel like I've done something, because I'm like, man, I was productive. I did what I feel God is leading me to do, and I did it even though, my flesh wanted to do something else. And be mindful that the feeling is going to be there. The craving is going to be there. You're going to want to pick up your phone. And I think a lot of times we get that misconstrued, like, oh, I'm doing what I need to do, so the urges need to go away. No, those urges are still going to be away. We're just disciplining ourselves so those urges become less and less and less and less. So when you're starting these tips, you're going to feel strongly the urge, because subconsciously, like, you're just going to want to do it, and you'll kind of like catch yourself like, oh, I need to stay off. Like, you're going to catch yourself picking up your phone and you're not even thinking about it. So keep that in mind. Just because the urges are there, keep going. You're doing great. And even if you do pick up your phone and you on there longer than what you scheduled, still give yourself grace. Don't stop. Keep trying to implement these steps, which leads me to step number 3, which is to put your phone in another room. This sounds so simple, but it helps so much. And partly because a lot of times, if we're being honest, we're quite lazy. You know, when it's something in a whole nother room or it's something you need to do, you'd be like, I'm gonna just get it later. So you may feel that urge to like want to scroll, and then you realize like, dang, I left my phone in another room, so I don't be on it. A lot of times you just won't get up to go get it unless it rings or somebody texts you, and that's a whole nother thing. Like, you might even need to silence your notifications, because I found myself leaving my phone in another room doing really good, and then I get a phone call or I get a text, and then it makes me not only check those things, but I'll be like, oh, it ain't gonna hurt real quick to hop on social media while I'm texting, or while I'm, you know, checking these calls or voicemails or whatever. And it takes you back down that rabbit hole. So really just getting in the habit of detaching yourself from your phone. So putting your phone in another room, which also kind of goes hand in hand with when you wake up, put your phone far from you. So I used to try to use the excuse so I can feel better about keeping my phone near me. Oh, well, when I wake up, I need to know what time it is and make sure that I'm getting up on time. And this, I'm talking about days like where I'm off of work. I don't even need an alarm. Like, I'll just say, oh, well, you know, I don't want to sleep in too late, so I need to be able to see the time and this and that and this and that. No, keep it away from you. If you got to work, set your alarm, but still put your phone far away where it's going to have to make you get up out of the bed, which is also a good thing, because if you do have to work and your alarm goes off, this actually prevents you from snoozing as many times, because you have to physically get up, versus when your phone next to you hits snooze, you could just fall asleep real quick right away. And we know we be snoozing 3, 4, 5 times. So this is actually going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. You're going to have a better night's rest. And when you wake up, you're going to have a better morning, because you're not just, first thing you're doing is hopping on your phone. And now you tired, you drowsy. And if we're honest, we'll start our morning off 2 hours on our phone, and then we don't feel like doing nothing for the rest of the day. And then you'll just be like, well, since I ain't doing nothing the rest of the day, I'll just do it tomorrow. So let me get back on my phone because I don't really got nothing to do. So it's just like, it's just a cycle. So put it far away from you. If your alarm goes off, turn the alarm off. And if it's a day where you don't need your alarm, say you have a day off of work, don't even set an alarm. Just put your phone somewhere else so you don't even have to touch it, okay? And start your morning, like I said, with prayer and meditating on the word of God and getting quiet and getting still. You know, like, feed you first. Feed you first before the world feeds you. Feed you first. Let God feed you first before the world starts feeding you. And it will make a world of difference, I'm telling you. And you feel better. And that's the whole point of this exercise. When you feel better, you're going to do better. You're going to feel the difference. It is literally night and day, to the point where it's going to start to lessen those urges. It's going to start to take that desire away from you, because now you like, okay, I feel whole. I feel peace. I don't even want to go back. You start to be scared to go. You get to the point where you're scared to go back. Like, dang, I don't want to go back on social media. I'm doing so good. I'm feeling better. I don't want to. Okay, so yeah, that would be a good tip. Tip number 4 would be to write down hobbies, or like I said earlier, tasks, but focusing on a hobby. Okay, so if we know that our phones is taking up so many hours of our day, so let's say like you completed everything that you needed to do on your to-do list, and you're like, okay, now I don't have anything else. I'm bored. Okay, we hate to be bored, don't we? And just think about it, like back in the day, we used to be bored, and our parents used to say, okay, well, go find something to do, go clean up, go, like, we have gotten so used to just everything getting handed to us that we don't want to go find something to do. And with finding something to do in this video, that is a hobby. Long gone are the days of hobbies. Like, people do not want to do hobbies anymore. God has blessed us with so many gifts and talents. We should be using them to like glorify him and to serve other people. It's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. And it's also a release. These things are for our own good. It's not just to be selfish, but it is for our own good. You know, it gives us time to not have to think about, oh, I got to pay this bill over here. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. And we always say we don't have time, but because all of our time is probably going to our phones. We're working and we taking care of the kids. And if you're in a relationship, you know, you're trying to keep your relationships or your marriages thriving. And we just feel overwhelmed. And we all say we don't have enough time in the day, but yet we have enough time to be on our phone for hours. So that shows us that there is time in the day. We're just not being intentional, and we're not being good stewards of the time that we have. So again, if these tips are going to be successful, the key word in this video is to plan. You got to plan for success. So before you even say, you know what, today I'm going to just, you know, if you see this video and you get inspired and you say, you know what, I am going to get off my phone. Write you a plan first. Like, it's literally that serious. Like, yes, you can be inspired and it'll kind of like motivate you, but without a plan, you have a high probability of failure. So write down your hobbies ahead of time. Write down something like that you always wanted to do, but you just always feel like, well, I haven't found the time to do it, or I'll do it later. Like, so for example, for me, I love painting. If you love painting, right? But say you feel like, well, I'm not good at drawing, or I'm not good at art. I've been using the paint by number set. Now, I do know how to draw and I do know how to paint, but sometimes I don't even want to think about that. You know, I don't want to, I might not feel like drawing per se, or just painting something from scratch. I might want something where it's just like a little paint by number kit. You know what I mean? I just want to be in the action of painting and just escaping. You know what I mean? And those kits are so fun. So if you're not, you know, the biggest artist, those are so relaxing, and you can order those off of Amazon, or you can visit Joann Fabrics. I had got a kit from them before, like a 1950s paint by number kit that was really cute, and just get creative with that. And it's such an escape. And I know I'm telling you to not be on your phone or to disconnect, but if you can't do this in silence, I would say, like, play a podcast out loud, or play a sermon out loud, so you're not physically watching it, but you're actually getting your mind fed as you're painting, and it's so relaxing. I do that as well too, but like I said, I caution you, when you do this, play it out loud, or maybe put some headphones in, but nothing where you have to look at your screen. Even if you have to put a podcast or a sermon on and put your phone somewhere else. But I'm only saying this because me doing my hobbies and something pouring into my spirit is also the best feeling in the world. And I think this is would be a powerful tip and a good tip. But again, having that device somewhere else and listening to it out loud, nothing where you have to like watch a video or your eyes are on a screen. Okay. But yeah, if there's an instrument you always wanted to learn to play, do that. You know, I've been recently wanting to get back into playing piano and playing violin. Those are instruments that I used to play. And I'm just like, man, when I was, you know, young, I did so much and I was in so many activities and I was so creative, and I just lost that. I lost that, and I felt like my mind was clear and I was in a better place then, you know, because we didn't have all these technologies. When I was in high school, the old school Nokia was out, and you could only do so much on those, you know what I mean? But we weren't tied to that because, you know, we didn't have no choice but to go outside or go find something to do. And so I was way more tapped into my hobbies, and I felt better about life, you know. And now that I've been intentional again, like I said, about painting and me wanting to get back into learning sewing, I started and then I kind of put that down. I've just felt better, and I feel like I'm finding myself. I'm getting back to myself, because I think we lose ourselves and we lose our identities because we're trying to find our identities in something or someone else, you know. And it's time to just get back to us and how we're created and stand in our lane, so that you know, if we do get back onto these platforms, we have something to offer. You know, you can share your gifts, you can share what you've been working on. Now you're more intentional and you're using social media in the right way versus letting it consume you and eat you up and influence you. It's causing you to stay in your own lane and work with what you have. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very, very important tip. And the last tip to wrap up this video is to take mental note of no, we already talked about that. The last tip is I have here is to turn off notifications. Okay, so again, many times we don't even be worried about these apps or these platforms, but you just see that little red bubble. You're like, okay, I gotta click on this because now what did this person message me or say or do? So I turn off my notifications so that way when I get on, and that's when I can see, you know, all the notifications at once. But I don't want to see that little red bubble keep popping up throughout my day. So I turn off my notifications on all my apps. And again, when I get to a point where I might just be setting a goal, like, okay, I'm not going to be on for 30 days or like a long extended period of time. Because remember, in these tips, we're starting out with 15-minute increments, like allowing yourself, you know, those minutes throughout the day. But once you've been putting these tips into practice day in and day out, like I said, after the first week, it starts to become easier. And just say you're like, you know what, I want to see if I can detach for a month, for 30 days. That is when I go in and physically delete the apps. Now I'm not just silencing notifications, I'm completely removing the app off my phone. And that helps me too, because I'm like, a lot of times I don't want to physically go in and re-download and re-log in. So it kind of causes an inconvenience. And so a lot of times I just leave the app off my phone. And after those 30 days, and like they say, it takes 21 days to build a habit. So if you can do a month, you're good. You will notice that you will not have the desire. Most of the time, you will not have the desire to want to get back on. I had no desire to want to get back on, but I'm like, okay, there's things that I have to offer. There's things that I sell. It is a great tool to get my stuff out there and get what I have to offer and the messages that I'm trying to share in front of different people. I have to have some platform. But if I wasn't doing those things, I literally had no desire to return at all. And even now, I'm going to say yesterday, I had a strong urge to literally delete everything except YouTube. Like I said, I've never felt the desire to delete YouTube. I've never had an issue with YouTube. It is Instagram and TikTok that is the chokeholds, okay? But if you struggle with YouTube, then apply these same tips. But for me, it's TikTok and Instagram, things that I have to visually look at. And I'm just like, I have no desire to return. I really, really didn't want to. But now I'm getting to the place where I'm like, okay, maybe I won't delete these pages, but since I'm not really working or promoting anything right now, I might just take a step back. I'm going to leave the pages up because I'm good for just completely deleting my page. I've already started over on Instagram, and sometimes I regret that because I'm like, I should have just left my page and just not be active on it. But I just completely deleted everything. I started all over. So I'm starting from scratch. But like now I'm in that state where I want to delete that too. And I'm just like, no, I'm just going to take a step back. Okay. Until I just, maybe if I grow this platform or maybe TikTok, I do well on TikTok, kind of like share what it is more that I need to share over there. Maybe I can just get rid of Instagram. I don't know, but I'm trying to get to the place where I can kind of condense everything to one platform and not have 5 different platforms and I'm addicted to all of them. You know what I mean? So I don't have Snapchat anymore. I don't have Twitter. I did create a Threads, but now I'm thinking I'm just going to get rid of Threads. I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's hard because, again, when you want to reach different people, you want to get on different platforms because different people use different platforms. But it just becomes so much. And it's like, I'd rather just go to one space and do it that way. You know what I mean? But yeah, I hope these tips were helpful for you. Like I said, these tips work. I have used them. I have successfully disconnected from social media for many months before. So what I'm telling you, I know it works. But like I said, as soon as I get back on, I get back in that rabbit hole and I'm like, all right, I need to get back intentional with these steps. So I thought, okay, let me share this with you because I know you guys are struggling with it too. And I just encourage you to get working on what you need to get working on. Focus on your hobbies. Your life is more important than watching something and somebody online. And again, we're only showing what we want you to see. We don't know everything else going on, but yet we will compare, you know, what we know to be going on and what we know to be true in our own lives to what we see and what we perceive of others. And so, yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.